Good evening, guys. Welcome to the Rookie Racing Championship. Once again, back for Season 2, Round 1 of the Division 1 Series. We're back here at Bahrain. I've got myself and Zara alongside, and we've also got a new feature to the show to kick off tonight. We've got George with us, George Adsgrow, who was driving the Williams last season. I think he still is. Yes, he is. George, how are you doing? Good to have you along.
Yeah, good to be here.
Just a few quick questions on the race. Obviously, Bahrain, it's quite a technical circuit. There's a lot of fast-flowing corners. How would you approach this race? Because this is more of a qualifying circuit, shall we say, rather than a race circuit.
Yeah, I think I prefer the circuit in the race, actually. It's very hard to qualify on, I find, especially in the first sector. Very easy to make mistakes and also very easy just to run wide everywhere. So I think I'll be looking to qualify in, I don't know, probably top 5 and then hopefully move forward in the race.
Yeah, definitely. And also, obviously, we've seen some quite close racing. Like I say, it's a qualifying circuit. There are some close racing, especially down into T1 at the exit of that very big DRS zone down the front straight. What do you think overtaking's going to be like there down into T1? Because there's not a lot of room down there.
Yeah, exactly. It could be. Hopefully there won't be too many incidents or any incidents at all, but could be interesting with some people doing some dodgy dives. You never know.
Mm-hmm. And obviously you had a good season last season in Season 1. I think it was fifth or sixth you finished in the championship, was it, or was it a bit higher than that? I can't remember now. It's been a couple of weeks. But obviously you had a good season last season. You pulled some good qualifying pace out and obviously some good race pace. Obviously Felix is the man to beat this season. How do you think you're going to stack up against him?
I mean, Felix is very quick. Felix is very, very quick. I don't think I'll quite be able to catch him at some circuits. So I'll have to take my chances where I can get him, like Brazil last season. Almost won there. Maybe Mexico and races like that.
Yeah, definitely. And final quick question, what's the track you're looking forward to most this season?
It's got to be Brazil. I almost won there last time, I think. It's probably my favourite circuit, or where I'm quickest, so Brazil.
Definitely.
I'd say,
that's
yeah.
fine. George, good to have you along. Thanks for coming on stream.
Thank you very much.
We'll just quickly, well, not finish the stream, end the microphone broadcast very shortly. Guys, thank you very much, for joining us for this very quick interview, to say the least. We've done that in quite record time, actually. Stay tuned, guys. We will be back when qualifying commences. Welcome back, guys. We are now down under the lights here in Bahrain. The race, well, qualifying should I say, has just about gone underway. The green's gone light at the end of pit lane. I'm joined with Zara. Zara, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. Good to have you along as always.
Yeah.
And we've got a good field tonight. Couple of driver changes over the season. Bossy Gaming being one of the big ones, going from Renault to Mercedes this season. That's a big change. Also, Lewis Oliver going from Racing Point to Red Bull. There's a few others. Fabio jumping his way up from Williams to Ferrari. A few changes out there, but a few familiar faces as well. And also along with Justin, who's just exiting the pit lane, going from Haas to Williams. So we'll stick with him as he makes his way out onto circuit. And begins his first warm-up lap. And they're trying to get the tyres nice and warm early on. There's the two Alfa Romeos behind him. Cohen and Fontano, and we know how quick them two were last season. But another big talking point, Felix is still in the pit lane. He has gone to AlphaTauri this year, switching from Ferrari power to Honda power. Going to AlphaTauri, the Season 1 World Champion. A couple of guys just trying to find the feet in the opening laps. There is Felix in the AlphaTauri. I mean, Zara, we saw how quick Felix was last season. Do we think? Do you think he's going to match the same pace that he did in that Alpha so well last season?
I mean, I do have some high expectations for Felix for this season. So yeah.
I mean, we've seen how quick it is. Obviously, changing from a slightly less reliable power unit, we could arguably say, in the Honda power unit from previous seasons, but it'll be interesting to see. We've also got a few new guys in here, Galactic being one of them, who's Felix's teammate this season in the AlphaTauri. Onto track tonight. And George, who we were just speaking to earlier, staying at Williams for this season, had a pretty good finish in last season's championship, and he showed some decent pace back then, and he's going to be one of the first to begin his lap. Comes down the start finish straight down into turn 1, which is very, very tight hairpin right-hander. Moving up DRS open, down the back straight. And down across, there's a yellow in sector 3. I'm not 100% sure who that is actually. We'll try and get the track map up so we can keep an eye on proceedings out on track. And it does look like it's going to be a pretty congested season. Like I said, there have been a few movements around. Justin and Cohen being one of the big talking points, going separate ways into separate teams. Cohen obviously going to Alfa Romeo, and Justin going to Williams. They were both at Haas last season. And we do have a couple of new faces. Roth, who's still in the pit lane in the Haas, and Lunatic in the other Haas this season. Two new rookies to the league. See the first couple of laps coming in. George has just crossed the line and done the fastest lap, followed by Galactic, then Cohen, then Fabio, and then Fontano. Justin just sneaking in behind that as we just catch Justin just having a spin actually coming out. I think that's the exit of turn 8 that is. Looping the car around. And off he goes. Looks like he just got it wrong coming out of there. Back end stepped out on him. He'll have to be steady now. Just make sure he can keep them tyres nice and cool and temperatures don't shoot up. That's not a great first lap for Felix, is that? A 1:26.7 he's done. Looks like he's going on a second run. He is on a set of mediums actually, so that's interesting. Potentially factoring in what we saw in Division 2 last night, where I drove myself and in the Ferrari, and the tyre wear was pretty high. For Felix, potentially, there could be a wise choice come the end of the race, trying to get on the mediums and do a one-stop. Zara, obviously we know that the track temperature can get quite hot round this circuit, so do we think the mediums is probably a good call, thinking about it?
I mean, I don't know. It depends.
With the medium being the harder compound, you would think it would last longer. Felix across the line, no improvement on that lap. I know we've seen Felix qualify on medium tyres before and being quite fair the way up the field, so I think it's a bit of a surprise at the minute, Zara, that we've not seen him get into the top 5 at least, you would think.
I'm actually really surprised that he's not in top 5.
Considering the pace that he had last season.
Exactly.
It's a bit of a shock, is that. We've got a yellow in the final corner. I think it's Lewis Oliver going slowly. It is. Crawling back to the pit lane. I think he's actually on low fuel mode there. He was going that slow. What else can we catch out on track? SDQ, another new face out on track in the Mercedes, was, believe it or not, actually teammates with Bossy Gaming at Renault last year, so the two of them switching over to Mercedes. So we had Purple Haze and a very short-lived run. I'm trying to remember who it was now. Somebody who didn't last very long. It'll be interesting to see how them guys can carry on this season. Meanwhile, up to the system, Doric's gone top of the timing sheets and the racing point. I completely missed that altogether. Unless he's done that fairly recently, because he's now on to another out lap. Interesting to see how they get on. I mean, obviously I drove in the Division 2 race yesterday, also streamed very kindly by Justin and Storm, to allow me to get a drive for once. And the track was quite quick. Tyre wear was high, so I think anybody on medium tyres, to be fair, is going to have quite a good advantage, to say the least, especially when it comes to grip and also tyre wear as well. It's going to be an interesting... Sorry guys, I was just replying to a message there. There's a Haas going slowly in Sector 2 actually. Who's that? I think it's... Yeah, it is Rough, going very slowly in that Haas. That's potentially another low fuel mode incident. On the lap, it's invalidated. Meanwhile, Doek's come round to start his next lap. Just under 8 minutes to go in this race. And we've got a very slow moving Mercedes up ahead. That might potentially catch him out. I think they've got that back going actually. However, there's going to be a slow Haas coming down the back straight. This could infringe the lap. And there's your slow Mercedes. And there's your very slow moving Haas. So, hopefully that hasn't cost Doek too much time. I mean, there's not a lot between him and George at the minute. Only 0.02 of a second between them two. Oh, he goes very wide coming out, and that's an invalidation for sure. Yep, track invalidated, unfortunately. Have a look down the order at Cohen on his lap. Coming down the back straight. Obviously, Zara, we saw Cohen last season tend to do
we did.
quite some things in the Haas. Obviously, he's in a very quick car, as we know, the Alfa Romeo, which was quick all of last season. And we think we can expect some good things from even better things from Cohen this season, because he was quick in the Haas last year. Where would you rank him now? Because he's got a very quick car behind him, as we know. You would think he would be quite high up on pace, maybe even winning races. What do you think?
I mean, he could be one of the top 5 in the season, maybe. In
the championship as a whole.
Yeah,
I could easily see that, to be fair. The pace of that car behind him. Not many guys left out on track at the minute. I think that's Luke behind Cohen at the minute. They come down through turn 8. Turn 7, sorry, that is. Turn 8 and turn 8's this one here. We'll come out onto the back straight. And meanwhile, while I've been saying that, George has gone top of the timesheets. We're 1:25.4. I mean, we were interviewing George just before the race, saying that he thought this track was quite hard to qualify around. Seems like he's having a field day out there at the minute. He's gone 2/10 quicker than Doek. I think George is entering the pits. Doek's on an out lap to potentially have one final run. It'll be interesting to see what he can do. And also joining the party, very last minute, racing up, who's reserving one of the McLaren seats tonight due to, unfortunately, someone couldn't attend in. I'm not sure who's in that seat actually. I'll need to double check that later on. He was having a few connection issues earlier. He's here now, and he's P7 with a 26.1. Obviously, racing up is the unknown quantity. We don't know much about him. He raced in the Division 2 race last night, I think. So it'll be interesting. Or at least he's a Division 2 driver, I think. So interesting to see how he gets on. Meanwhile, Luke is on a full lap and has not got it invalidated yet, so hopefully he can get a time on the board before the end of this session. Oh, he goes very wide coming out of the second sector and goes straight across that white line. That's an invalidation. He will have to go again. Also Storm joining us, who's hopping into the other racing point tonight. See how he gets on. Marcus and Lewis Oliver struggling so far in the Red Bulls. Goes across the line, no improvement again, so he'll have another shot at it, you would think. Meanwhile, Doek's on another lap. He's come out of the last corner. Laps open. Across the line. Is it going to be any improvement? Yes, it is. A 1:25.1. 3/10 quicker than George. I mean, we saw Lewis Oliver with a fair bit of pace in that Racing Point last season, and seems like Doek's showing what he can do tonight. Very powerful engine on the back of that Racing Point. The pink Mercedes. It seems like they've got the balance just right. So far, just over 2 minutes to go in this qualifying session. And we've seen some good times so far. What do we make of that, Zara, that Dorek being top of the timing sheets? I mean, he's sort of mid-pack with...
Sorry, what did you say?
Sorry, you're not listening. Don't worry. We were just saying about Doek topping the timing sheets at the minute. Obviously, we saw him a couple of times in the Renault last season, and now he's switched over to the Racing Point and really showing his true pace, you would think. Is there anything, do we think Dorek could be potentially a contender for the championship?
I mean, I don't know.
Don't worry about it, it happens. It happens.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, don't worry. Sometimes there's just them questions where it's like, what are you on about?
Yeah, they're just confusing sometimes.
Oh dear. Carrying on, Cohen on his second, well, his third flyer actually, on the new set of softs. Just under a minute to go in the qualifying. Be interesting to see. What tyres people have done. As Cohen just goes P3 actually with a 25.4, a 1:25.4, sorry. So splits Cohen and Fabio. Cohen and Galactic, George and Galactic actually, sorry. My bad. In fact, no, Galactic's actually just gone P4 actually, so that's my bad. Doric is retired from the session. Galactic settles for P4. He's going to get one more lap though, so potentially chance of improving. Bossy Gaming's over the line. Unfortunately, couldn't set a lap. Storm is on a lap. And he's going to get one shot at it. Felix not having a good day in that at the minute. In that Alpha Tauri, he seems to be struggling for pace. It'll be interesting to see. We've got the last couple of guys coming round now. Dorek's done his best efforts. I think George is still on a lap. He is. We'll stick with George, see if timing sheets can change. He can get his lap data up. What's the time? He's 3/10 up on his previous lap. On his best lap, sorry. So this is going to go pretty tight. And meanwhile, talk of the hour, Felix shoots from P11 to P2. Great drive from him. Splits in half. But here comes George. What's the time going to be? It's pole for George. It's a 25.0. It's a 10th quicker than Doek in the Racing Point. Felix settled for third. And what a great qualifying session that was. So George has pole from Doek, from Felix, from Cohen, from Galactic, from Storm, who comes in last minute and gets P6. That's a good effort. Racing up to come 7th, Fabio 8th, FCQ 9th, Lewis Oliver in 10th. Bit off the pace today in that Red Bull. In the Red Bull as well in 11th. Justin in 12th. And that rounds out your top 12 drivers, people, as the AI almost crashes Justin into the back of one of the Hasses there. That was a bit questionable. Well, Zara, what do we make of that qualifying session? Felix coming out of nowhere to get P3 from P11.
Yeah, that was so out of the blue.
So out of the
honest.
blue. Do we think it was expected though, given his pace that we normally see out of him?
I don't want to say I expected to see him to be in like P3 for this race, like for the qualifications, but knowing his pace and stuff, that, yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah, definitely. Right, guys, we are going to take a quick break. We will be back for the race itself. Stay tuned. We'll see you in the next couple of minutes, if I can figure out how to turn the mic off. Welcome back, guys, to the round 1 of season 2 in Division 1 of the Rookie Racing Championship. I've got to get used to saying that now. There's 2 divisions now, as the guys are making their way round to kick off the first race of the season. Well, the first race of the Division 1 season. We had the Division 2's race last night, including myself on the grid for that one, and being quite a, well, chaotic race. A few incidents and a few bumps and scratches. Not sure who my money's on this race. There's been some tight qualifying. George is on pole from Dowick from Felix, after Felix was pulled one out of the bag to jump from P11 to P3 in the qualifying session. As the guys line up ready to go and get the Division 1 season underway. It should be a good one. There's plenty of guys out on track who have got several good racing experience and know how to win a race like this. As we go to 5 red lights. Lights out and underway, or at least we thought season 2's underway. It seems to have done a screen freeze on my game, and I think it's throwing. Now they go away. It was very going start. A couple of bogged down in the back, racing up, bogs down really far at the back as they make their way to turn 1. They're going to get floor cleaning, bit of contact. George loses out to Dowick there in the middle of all that. I think there is a bit of contact in the background, but I think he just about scraped through cleanly. Couple of positions being made, Justin up to P8 from P11 as they swing down towards turn 3. Good overtaking. SDQ's lost out in the Mercedes, actually dropping quite far down the order. So Dowick leads from George, who's having a bit of a battle with Felix. The 2 AlphaTauris going side by side. Galactic, that's the move of the season, surely. Overtaking his teammate Felix and then getting George in one corner. What a move that was. Great move from Galactic, that. As who's that up in the background? I think it's Fabio that's gone straight on. It is. He's going to lose out big time to that. Outbraked himself heavy. F1 Insights at the bottom saying it's going to be a 2-stop race regardless. There's a yellow in sector 2. I think there's a bit of a spin. Oh, that's a huge accident! Huge accident for Cohen. And the safety car is out. No surprise. That was a huge hit into the barrier coming out at the second sector. That was a huge accident. I'm not sure what happened there. I just caught the back end of it as you saw on camera. It'll be interesting to look at that one, but it looked like Cohen potentially might have dropped it himself. I'm not sure. He was battling with a few guys in the midfield, but Cohen is out of the race. That is a huge hit into the barriers, and that is going to take some cleaning up. And a few of the guys making an opportunity to make a pit stop. Most of these guys will go into mediums to try and do a medium to hard strategy now. The guys on softs might as well take advantage with a free pit stop behind the safety car, sorry. As the field already caught up to the safety car very quickly. Used to the fact, but that was a huge hit, was that. I will try and get further information on what actually happened there with Cohen. Seemed a very big impact though. Seemed a huge hit into the side there. Wasn't a very nice impact at all. It'll be interesting to see what happened. It looked like to me Cohen dropped it himself. I mean, Zara, I don't know what you caught of it from your angle, but it looked like Cohen had just dropped it himself coming off the curb. I don't know
Yeah.
what you could have seen.
I didn't really catch it on my end, but it could have been Cole's fault,
Yeah.
kind of.
Okay, Cohen's saying Cohen has actually just messaged me saying he had no grip, and he's actually dropped it himself, no contact at all. But it was a very, very big hit, to say the least, and unfortunately that means we have lost the driver already, so we're down to 16 drivers out of the 17 that started around this Bahrain circuit. First time. We'll take a quick break, guys, from commentary, and we will be back shortly. Stay tuned.
After that, you have to say everything.
Go. Go.
I can't.
Don't worry. We tried to get. Oh, sorry, stream. We tried to get Zara to do a reinstruction just as the safety car's about to come in, but that completely failed. Anyway, the green light goes. We are racing again, and Doric tries to break an early advantage. We've got Galactic in the AlphaTauri behind him. They have a dive up the inside. Has a look over the curb. Still side by side. I think they all get through turn one cleanly again. Yes, they do. Didn't see any dramas in the background. Maybe a little bit of touching. As Stoic loses the lead to Galactic coming up the hill. There's one gone. Oh, there's a huge crash. I think it's Storm that's off in the barrier. It is. I think he's got that going though. Has he got wing damage? I think he might have just avoided it. It didn't seem like a huge amount of contact, but there was a yellow back there. I was worried it was a Roman Grosjean incident for 1 second, that he smacked that right hand wall, but luckily gets away with it unscathed. Galactic down the back straight. Felix is going to have a look on Doek here and try and get past. Stream of Formula 1 cars going up the hill. It's going to be interesting to see if Felix can actually get past here. We've got four, with George included as well, four ridiculously fast drivers here. You could even probably count Lewis and Marcus in that, who are in the Red Bulls behind. We know what Lewis and Marcus are capable of. There's a yellow in sector 3. I think it's Storm again. It is. He's got that going. I think he might have just half spun it there. As Doric tries to go around the outside into the hairpin. Has he got it done? He's got it back on the exit. Goes a little bit wide though. Galactic's going to swing back round the outside. Good move from him. Doric might have a look down into the corner. There's a little bit of contact. I think he just about get away with it. He just slightly taps the rear, but that's going to cost Doik some time there. It looked like they touched. Oh no, that's a huge accident. George is off in the background. Very, very big accident that is. As George is off the track, that potentially might bring out a safety car actually. I don't think he has for now. I think he's got back on his way, but he drops all the way down to P13 in that. It looked like he just got it wrong coming out of the S's. It was a shame there because George was having a really good race, so that allows everyone else to move up the order. Justin's having a great race in the Williams, P6 at the minute from P12, was it on the grid? I think it was, P12, P11. Not
P11.
bad at all. P11, thank you very much. I got corrected for once. That was a good one.
No
And
problem.
there's Fabio off. Fabio's off in the background. He's dropped well down the order, loses out. Luke's actually letting him go past. I wonder if Luke was involved in that one. Looked a bit far off to me for him to be involved. Meanwhile, Doric's trying to find his way back past Galactic. And you'd think if everyone's on a two-stop here, they're going to be wanting to do pit stops fairly soon. As Doric goes to the outside, coming into turn 4, he's trying to hang it there. That's going to get sketchy. They just about miss each other. As they come down the hill through the S's. All keeping it clean, these boys. But I think Doric is very desperate to get out of this AlphaTauri sandwich at the minute. To be fair, if the Zara's going to laugh at this, but if the AlphaTauri cars were actually brown like bread was, it would actually look like a ham sandwich with that battle. Because of the pink car in the middle. I'm not even lying though, am I? Let's be honest. I mean, it would look like an
Okay.
AlphaTauri sandwich. I just need to quickly invite Cohen back. I think he's...
It was low-key funny.
And we're going to try and get Cohen in here, I think, to try and get an interview on actually what happened during that incident, because it was a very, very big impact into the barrier. It'll be interesting to see as Doric's trying to go around. Oh, this is getting sketchy. 3 wide as they come round. There's contact and Felix is round. Felix has spun and Doric's spun in the background as well. 2 fancied runners spinning out of this race in spectacular style. Doric dropped all the way down to P12 and Felix all the way down to P10. So Galactic inherits the lead with the 2 Red Bulls who have just been driving a really steady race actually between each other. And it's been a really good race from them actually. Interesting to see what happens in the forthcoming in this race. Lewis has got DRS now on Galactic. We know what pace Lewis had last season from being in the racing point. He's having a look down the inside. I think he's going to get it done before the corner. He is. Good move. Very well timed move. As they come down the back straight, there's a yellow actually, and a virtual safety car's being deployed. I think Fabio's had a moment. He has, all the way down in P16. I just saw it, you would have just saw it on the track map on the top left a few moments ago. He's actually lost his front wing, so he must definitely hit the wall there. So that's going to shake shake it up a bit with a virtual safety car. It looks like it's maybe ending though. The cars are starting to speed. Oh, not really actually. They were speeding up, but not really so now. I think they're just waiting for this VSC to go away. Sometimes it can last quite a while, and it has gone now. But Luke in the Renault in P14 has got a drive-through penalty for that. Apologies about that, guys. I've knocked my microphone out for a second, but yeah, Luke has got a drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC. And that is a very big shame that he's contended with that. And Justin inherits P4. A few guys battling up top, and the main one has got to be the battle for first. Galactic leads the way. He's managed to find his way back past Lewis Oliver, but Marcus and Lewis are having a scrap behind, and Marcus gets through. Nice driving for him. He might have a chance of attacking Galactic now. The Red Bull Junior team is actually beating the senior team at the minute, which is interesting to say the least. There's a big lock up there from Marcus going down into turn 8. Very big lock up. Essentially might have flat spotted the tyre slightly there. DRS down the back straight. And you'd think Marcus here, well, Marcus is on the better strategy here. He's on a set of medium tyres due to he pitted under the first safety car after the first lap. So he's potentially got a chance to be on optimum strategy, because Galactic's got to pit and Lewis has got to pit behind him as well. So, an extra stop, shall we say, as Galactic goes into the pits this lap. Lap 10, sorry, out of 29. Galactic dives for the pit. Now, this could be interesting. Can he whack a set of hards on? Try and get to the end of the race, and it seems like that is what he's doing. The white walls go on, and he is probably going to try and go to the end of the race on them set of tyres now. So whether Lewis Oliver will try and follow him and do the same is another question. Meanwhile, Justin and SDQ are having a scrap behind these boys. SDQ getting it very, very sideways all over the curb. And we've got a spinner. I think Storm spun again. He has, you can just see the yellow line. He spun in the same spot that he did only a few laps ago. It's not been Storm's night tonight by any means. SDQ has actually got a bit of it. He's trying to grow a bit of a gap to Justin. And Justin's got Fontano in the Haas behind to worry about. Not Fontano, sorry, Ruff in the Haas, and then Fontano in the Alfa Romeo behind him. And then Felix is trying to make his way up the order, and Bossy Gaming's had a moment in the Mercedes. He is back on his way now, but actually had quite a severe one. So, right, this is interesting. Lewis Oliver's in the pits and Felix is as well. So Lewis Oliver whacks on a set of hards. That's him going to the end of the race, you would think. And the guys at AlphaTauri doing the same. Yes, they are for Felix. Felix is putting on hards. Doric onto hards as well. He's making his pit stop. So Marcus now has a bit of a gap to Justin and Ruff, but Ruff has still got to pit, and so has Justin. So, well, and so has Marcus actually, but Ruff's actually got to pit twice, but he's on a set of softs. So, he could really potentially try and do the hard strategy like others are trying, because he's been on them softs for very, very long now. They seem to be still working, and he's got DRS on Justin coming down the back straight. Might have a look down into turn 9. Think better of it. Well, Zara, we weren't predicting this top 5, but earlier on, were we? Until Felix and a few others spun out.
Mhm.
Who's your money on out of this top 5 right now?
Probably Justin, Marco.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll probably have my money more on Marcus due to strategy. However, you might want to counteract Justin, because Ruff has just moved up into 2nd place.
Yeah, maybe I'll bet on that. I don't know.
I'm a bit concerned by that, but I'm not sure. It's probably me thinking a bit stupid again. Anyway, so Ruff moves up into P2. There's a bit of a battle going on behind him. Fontano and Racing Up, they're having a bit of a scrap over P6. Here's the train of Formula 1 cars developing here. Lap 12. Tano's doing very good well to defend from Up so far. Has Up just spun it? Yes, he has. Racing Up has just spun it. Coming out, I'm assuming he touched that curb and it's just sent him that way. That's what normally happens. He's back on his way now, but that's going to cost him quite a severe amount of time, you would think. Marcus, meanwhile, has extended a 4.8 second gap over Ruff. And meanwhile, Justin and SDQ are having a scrap, or SDQ's trying to get past Justin. Romantic's not far behind them either. So it's been a pretty good race so far. Justin just about managing to defend so far. A bit of contact there, and more than a bit of contact. SDQ gets put sideways, just about gathers it up, but loses out to Ramatic in the Haas. The Haasers are having a good day so far, the 2 rookies. But SDQ is struggling out Mercedes. It's not been the Mercedes day, to be fair. Bossy's been struggling as well. Montano Racing Up has lost a lot of time. Galactic's chasing after him. I don't think there's any really closer battles out on track, apart from this little 3/4-way battle between Justin, Ramatek and SDQ, and you could easily include Ruff in front in that one. Or easily Fontano, who's actually catching up quite quickly behind them, so interesting to see. Justin still managing to defend with DRS at the minute. Come down the back straight, and Justin's actually entered the pit lane, and so has Ruff actually in the pit. Most of and that's interesting. So Fontano's coming to the pits again and put another set of hards on. That's an interesting call, but whatever floats your boat. I don't know why he's done that, unless he just didn't feel like the tyres were right. Move on anyway, swiftly. Ramatic still defending from SDQ. And Doek and Ruff behind are having a bit of a scrap. Ruff trying to go around the outside, and I think he's going to get moved on. He is. Good move from the rookie in the Haas. Very good racing from him. Doek loses out to that one. George is not far behind these boys either, considering his spin earlier. Massive lock up there though, going into turn 8. locking the wheels quite significantly. And this again is still the closest battle on track at the minute. Doric is racing hard as much as he can. Dramatics out the pits. Doric trying to do as much as he can. Justin's actually been in the pits and has got Rough right off his bottom. They've both got DRS. This could be interesting. Down into turn 4. Side by side. Justin trying to go the long way round. Has he got it done? I think he has, you know. He has. Great move from Justin round the outside. That was brave driving. And that's going to leave Rough behind, Justin behind, sorry. It was Rough with the overtake, sorry. I'm still used to seeing Justin in that hat. He's now in different colours of Williams now. Oh, great move by Rough though, round the outside, really committed to it. Committed driving from the rookie. And now that's going to leave Justin vulnerable to Doric. Come back up the hill. Meanwhile, a little bit of a closing battle, shall we say, for P4. Lewis Oliver in the senior Red Bull car against Felix in the AlphaTauri. This could get interesting. Felix with DRS and the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well, passed. SDQ's in the pit lane, so this is a battle for P3 now, and Felix gets it done before the corner, so nice and simple overtake, nothing crazy. Lewis Oliver will get DRS going back down the straight. Just over halfway through this race now, and it's not been a bad one, to be fair. Pretty entertaining. Lots of action on the track. I mean, sport for action, that's for sure. And this train is forming again behind. Much Fortano and Justin right in the middle of it. Doric and Rough on the outsides. And DRS flaps popping open everywhere as they come down the back straight. Crazy to think this track has 3 DRS zones here at Bahrain. They could have easily put a 4th DRS zone and down that back straight as well. And Bossy Gaming picks up a penalty for multiple warnings, and they've all managed to keep it fairly clean so far. Come down, this could get airy though into turn 1. They've all got DRS. Doric, well, Fontana trying not to lose out to Doric. Doric gets past before the corner. Doric inherits P8 in all of that. Still the closest battle on track is this, so it'll be interesting to see how it develops. Justin looks a little bit desperate to try and get past Tano here. Marcus is pulling a very, very big gap at the front, 17.5 seconds to Galactic now. And it will be interesting to see if he can maintain that. It feels like it looks like it's still growing, to be honest, as that gap or fluctuating a little bit. So there might be some room in that yet. Meanwhile, Justin's going to get DRS on Fortano here. And potentially have an opportunity to get past. Flaps open, goes to the right. Can have a go. Doric in front's trying to have a go on Rough as well. That one doesn't quite happen in front, and neither does the one behind it either. So back again, Justin. He might try around the outside this time. He is going to try around the outside. He's going to try and do it. There's a bit of contact. Just about keep it clean. More wheel banging. More wheel banging. More wheel banging between the two. Justin over the curve. That's going to squeeze him up. This is really, really good racing between these two. Oh, that could have ended in tears. They just about keep it together. That was great racing through them few corners though. That was excellent. Racing up in the background just locks up a little bit. Unbelievable driving between the two of them. And lucky not to take one of each other, well, not to take each other out there, because when you're racing like that, the battle is quite intense. Meanwhile, just a couple of seconds up the road, Doric is still trying to get past Ruff to go on board with him. Down the main straight, he's going to get DRS. We'll see if he can make a move down into turn 1. And gets it done before the corner, but Ruff's going to fight back. This could end in tears. Oh, they just about keep it clean. Just about keep it together, and George is getting involved in this. Oh, this is turning into a very big scrap behind. Coming down the main straight. On board with George. Coming down. And they just about keep it clean. Racing up. There's got past all of them. Justin's down to P11. There's a bit of understeer from George there. You can hear it in the car. George looking up his wheels there. And Foster just behind them. Racing up. He's going to look for a move. Down the back straight. Couldn't quite get it done there. Potentially going to look for a move. Coming down the top section, on board with him again. Just drifting a little bit wide. Just starting to grow a gap a little bit there. To come down towards the final corner. There we go, Marcus, the race leader, is actually pitting. That'll be for his final stop of this race. He gets out in P4 and racing up. Dispatches of Fontaro in the meantime, coming down the main straight. That lasted while it did. Dispatches of them fairly quickly. Justin's going to have a look at Fontaro's bit now, but he's also got George just behind him to defend. Right on board with George just to see what we can try and see. Locking that front tyre is George. Through each corner. Turning into a nice little battle is this. Between racing up, might get an opportunity to try and stretch his legs. Now he's finally dispatched Fontano, but you'd think George would like to try and get in the points if he can. He's trying to get in Justin's draft as much as he can. No team orders here at Williams. They're going to let them race, which makes it much better. And I think Justin goes low. I thought he was pitting for a second. He was going that low, but George is going to try and shoot past, and he gets that one done even before the corner. Nice driving there. from George, getting past quite nicely. So Galactic still leads the way, but Felix is closing in. Sorry, slowly but surely. Zara, I know it's been a long race, but Felix, from the incident that you had earlier, so coming back to P10, what do you make of that? What do you make of that, Zara, from Felix coming all the way from P10 back up to second and potentially could get past his teammate for the win here?
I'm so sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry.
I
was just saying about Felix.
Yeah, he's
coming
in
up
P2 right now.
Coming up to P2, coming up from P10. What a recovery that is, considering the spin that he had earlier.
Yeah.
Do you think he's got enough to win the race?
I can see him winning the race, to be honest. Yeah, I can expect him to win the race. But isn't the gap a bit too big for him?
It's not really. It's just under a second now is the gap as we watch this battle coming through turn 4. And with 7 laps to go, you would think there would be a chance with a gap in less than a second. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We're going to ride on board with Felix and see what he can do, and whether the AlphaTauri boys are actually going to let them race each other. Interesting to say the least. Meanwhile, that's getting a bit hairy. George is trying to go around the outside. Bit of contact with Fontano. We're on board with Justin. Try and get a good view of this. George is locking up that front left tyre very heavily. We saw this battle earlier developing quite nicely. It seems to be developing quite nicely again. All over the final point position. And with these lot battling, racing up in the McLaren has actually stretched his legs a little bit. He's now all the way up to P9. Now is George going to try and get DRS on Fontano here and potentially make a move down into T1. The gap is small enough for it. George with DRS, he's going to potentially move to the right, you would think. Fontano's going to squeeze him all the way though. Down into T1, George, ooh, Justin almost runs into the back of his teammate there. Just about keep it clean. Justin's got a front row seat of this one though. Good racing. George is going to try and go the long way around the outside. Bit of contact. George gets squeezed. This is good racing between these boys. A little bit pushing and shoving there. They just touch again. Oh, Jesus. This is really good racing. A bit of wheel banging. And this could bring Justin into play. I think Justin has to back out of it for now. I'm going to ride on board with George going down the inside. I think he's got the move done. He has a bit of wheel banging again from Fontano, but George gets P10 so far. And I think we're going to have to leave this battle, unfortunately, because it's all developing at the front. Felix is potentially going to make a move down into T1. But with them two battling, Marcus has been brought back into play. And with 5 laps to go, this is anybody's race now. Really, with how little the gap is. Any of the top 3 could win this race easily now. As long as no silly mistakes happen. Turning into a nice, closely contested race. Felix and Marcus are both going to have DRS coming down this back straight. But the flat. Felix might have a go here. thinks better of it. Sits behind him for now. He's closing that gap even more. Come down racing hard, these boys. Keep it clean, they'll be absolutely fine, to be honest. Down the back straight, DRS for the two behind. Felix is going to have a look on Galactic, and Marcus might try and follow him through. Felix gets the corner first, and Marcus is going to try and follow through, and he does get it done. Great driving between all of them. Felix is now going to get exposed to Marcus. There's a bit of contact between two in the background. Marcus holds it. Galactic Nerve was unfortunately on the outside there, so he didn't really have a lot of space to go. And it's still interesting in this race to see where it's going to finish. I mean, like I say, it's anybody's race. Put my bets on though, I don't think Felix will win it. And that is a bold claim. I honestly do not think Felix has got the legs to win this race. Especially with these two hot on his heels. And Felix is in, arguably you could say, the wrong position now. None of them have penalties. And Felix is not going to have DRS down any of the straights, so you would think it's advantage second and third at the minute. Marcus gets DRS, goes side by side down the back, down the front stretch, down into turn one. He's going to squeeze Felix all the way, gets it turned in before Felix and gets it done. A little bit of a lag touch there, but nothing significant. Now Felix and Galactic have DRS. Felix is going to try and go the long way round on Marcus. He potentially might get it done. A bit of wheel banging again. And Felix has to get out of it. That's going to bring Galactic back into play. My goodness, what a race this is. What a race we're being treated to in the season opener. How these guys have kept it together, I do not know. The amount of little touches. But you know what they say, rubbing is racing. As they would easily say in Jimmy Broadbent's chat for his streams. And the gap has just started to open up out a little bit, so Felix potentially might be out of this now. Just over 3 laps to go in this Grand Prix. I mean, Felix could still get it done, but I don't fancy Felix. He's going to get the DRS here. And he's got ERS to use as well, a little bit of it. Yellow in sector 2 and 3. I think that's Justin off. It is. Justin has had a spin. He's back going though. And several people spun it coming out of turn 11 there today. Seems to be quite a popular spot, and I think that's Ramatek in the wall. It is. He's lost his front wing. That seemed like a big accident coming out of turn 2. And that's Doric in the wall. Doric spun. The pole sitter has spun. He's rejoined just about safely. Could easily ended in tears. Meanwhile, Felix has got 2 laps to try and make a move on Marcus. Oh, it's all over. This is going to go right to the wire, is this one. Can sense it now. It's been a very good race though between these boys. And it's been enjoyable to watch as well. chasing Felix DRS again. He's going to try and go around the outside. Has a look. Is he going to try and cut back? He thinks about it. Thinks better of it though. Down the back straight. He's going to get DRS again. Goes to the outside. Is he going to try and go the long
Felix
way
is leading.
round?
He's in
got it
P1.
through. And he's just about made it through. Yes, Felix into the lead. We were just watching that battle. It was a very good send around the outside. Marker.
This is nerve-wracking.
It is very nerve-wracking. It's very sketchy as well watching it. How these boys have not taken each other out, I do not know. But they've been racing very hard. Markerus is going to get the DRS down the back straight. So I don't think this is safe for Felix yet. Because Markerus has been driving pretty well. On board with Markerus. I think Markerus needs to not Felix get away with this now. He needs to stay in that DRS range if he's going to have any chance. Come round onto the last lap of the Grand Prix. Racing up, he's up into 5th place. Overtaking SDQ. Markerus, DRS. You can see the slingshot starting to appear. Is he going to brake late? He is. He's going to go to the outside. And couldn't quite get it done. He'll get DRS coming down here though. Again, more of a slingshot on Felix. Goes to the inside. Is he going to get the move done? Locks up a little bit as we go back to trackside. And this isn't over. Last lap of the Grand Prix. It's now or never for Markerus. As he locks up again. That's going to cost him time. Potentially might have flat-footed the tyres as well. Can you get DRS down this back straight? But I think it's done now. I think the gap's got too big. It was now or never for Markerus. And unfortunately, it has not been his day. But it has been this man's day. His luck has come lucky with him tonight, Felix. And dropped down all the way down to P11 at one point due to a spin. From P3 on the grid. Felix comes home, wins once again for AlphaTauri. Markerus comes across the line in 2nd. Galactic comes home for P3. Lewis home for P4. Racing Up has had a great debut in the McLaren, coming home for P4 actually, because Lewis Oliver had a penalty. Lewis Oliver comes home P5 then. Ruff comes home P6. SDQ P7. Zoet crosses the line in 8th. George comes home in 9th position. Fontaro 10th, but he has got a penalty, so this might change it around. Bossy Gaming stays 11th. Justin comes home for P12. And Ramatek is going to come across the line for P13. Well, that was a great opening race for the first start of the season. Really, really good race from everybody involved, especially that last lap between Markerus and Felix. Zara, quickly your takes on the race. Seemed like a good one. You think it seems like Felix potentially might have found his boots in that AlphaTauri as well. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Rookie Racing Championship YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.